So let me introduce Barb, who's going to tell you about JJ.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to 1 Million Cups, and it's my absolute pleasure to introduce JJ Johnson. I first knew JJ when he was helping people with their cars. He's been in that business for a very long time, and then he pivoted. And now he's doing JJ's Johnson Brothers Tiny Farm, and they make the best goat milk cream you can put on your skin. And they also do many things around the city. So come on up, and I'm going to let you take it over so I don't stumble anymore.
Well, good morning, everyone. Excited to be here. I presented here last year when Johnson Brothers Tiny Farm. We moved down to Bosque Farms from Albuquerque, my wife Danny and I. And our dream was to, through our farm, to care for our family, our neighbors, and the earth through regenerative farming. So last year, when I presented, we had just recently acquired the recipes for our all-natural goat milk lotion. We were doing 5 markets a week, way overworked, not sleeping. It was nuts. We were in this white plastic packaging. And when we presented, one of the things that the pieces of wisdom that I gained was that our packaging sucks. If you were to walk into someone's bathroom and see this on the counter, you're probably gonna stay away from it, because what is it? Is it pills? Is it like a dietary supplement, something? Who knows? So we pivoted away from that, and I'm excited to tell you about that here in a minute. This was my mixing bowl that I was making product in on my kitchen counter. It has since been retired, and as Barb said, I was still working full-time in my automotive business. So what have we been up to over the last 7 months? First, major lifestyle improvement for us. I closed the automotive business. We're spending all of our time and energy on the farm. Look at this gorgeous logo that Dan Paterno helped us redesign. So we rebranded with the help of Dan. One of the things that he helped with. So you've seen the white packaging. We switched to glass. We have the gorgeous logo here, and then just a simple logo tells what it is. And we've gone from, what is that? Skeptical to something that's elegant and invites someone to say, what is that? So thank you for your help, Dan. So we got the new packaging. We've been cultivating community through the markets, through business community events like the one here at 1 Million Cups. We've been focusing on sustainability. You see the glass packaging. We switched to that because with the plastic, it just made us sick how much of that was just going into the landfill. You can recycle it, assuming that when you send plastic to be recycled, it's actually recycled. But with the glass, we can sterilize and reuse them. Everything in it is reused, even the liner in the lid, which can't be reused, is a cardstock, so it is easily recyclable. We have a new website that I am so excited to unveil to you guys. It's gonna be live next month. It's gonna be incredible. We've been working really hard on it. And we now have a clarity of purpose in our business. So in a few minutes, my presentation is going to be done. And Will is going to come up here and he's going to say, why do you do what you do? All right. So here's the answer. In everything we do, we believe in community. We honor every person's dignity. The way we serve our community is by crafting nourishing products with simple ingredients in sustainable ways. We make the most nourishing lotion you'll ever put on your skin. You guys ready to be nourished?
Yeah.
So we've expanded our product line. We have 6 core scents. We have our unscented all natural goat milk lotion and soap. We have 5 carefully crafted and curated scents that we do year round. We have a seasonal scent where we are doing a quarterly small batch lotion. Currently, our summer scent is cucumber melon. It is delightful. We still do the homegrown jams and jellies. So all of our jams and jellies are made from fruit, either from our property or from generous neighbors who don't have the ability to go out and harvest hundreds of pounds of fruit. We do partner with a gentleman who does functional mushroom tinctures. It's a medicinal supplement. If you guys don't know about the benefits of mushrooms, come talk to me, or even better, talk to G over here. You're going to hear from him a little later as we introduce new people. He's the owner of Chai Chai Love. He makes amazing chai tea with mushrooms. We also sell the produce that we grow on the farm. So that's what we're doing. This is our current schedule. This is our weekly schedule. Those of you who are astute will notice that we are still doing 5 markets a week. And it is sustainable for us currently, but we are in the process of transitioning from our primary source of income being the face-to-face markets to our primary source being wholesale and online. We're shipping nationally, working on, I have a few people who have reached out to me internationally to ship to them. We have a piece of New Mexico, which is an old town fat pipe. All of y'all know where that is. And then Caballo Beauty, which is Dan's salon. So what are our challenges? We're still struggling with time management. It doesn't feel like there are enough hours in the day, and we're doing too many face-to-face markets. We're working on production increase. We're looking to probably at least triple our production capacity in the next 6 months. We're looking at we're going to have to switch from doing that by hand to some kind of mechanical advantage. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but that's something we're working on. Hiring, as we get bigger, we're needing to expand our team. That we're not just looking for employees, we're looking for people who see the world the way that we do. And that's, as a business owner, I'm sure many of you know the struggles that come with that. We're building out our wholesale business, and then supply chain resilience. We go through a lot of jars, a lot of stickers, a lot of goat's milk and jojoba and all of these things. And I don't know if this is a revelation to you guys, but supply chains are tough now. With imports and tariffs and all of those things. We work primarily with American companies, but they're often importing our jars. And so that's a challenge for us. We don't want to be caught in a position where we can't make product because of who we're counting on. Yeah, so that's me. I'm JJ, Johnson Brothers Tiny Farm. I'd love to talk to any of you about the questions.
All right, great presentation, JJ. I love your pictures. So now what we do is it's for the next 20, 30, 40 minutes. We'll cut you off at about 9:45 so we can do final things. Please come up and ask JJ questions. Give him some suggestions. He's given us some ideas of what he's looking for. So if you've got ideas on that, let's form a line over here and just come up when you present. Don't do what I just did, do what I'm gonna do now. And that is, hi, I'm Barbara Dawson with Purple Mulch. And JJ, my question is, and then ask your question, but introduce yourself first. So Paul, come on up.
Yeah, I'm Paul Sauter, Chief Scientific Officer of Equiseek. We sell genetic tests for horses. So, I want to take one of your challenges and turn it around. So
Yes.
you say you're doing too many markets,
Yes.
but each of those markets, you're talking face to face with customers, probably repeat customers. So it's an opportunity for customer discovery. So if you want to dial back your market exposure, it's because you've learned as much as you can from talking to those people. So what's the biggest surprise you've had talking to people with markets about your products?
Biggest surprise. How much I enjoy the community. When we were working on the clarity of our business and the idea of community came up, the other vendors that are there being an agent of lifting their businesses up has been wonderful. And then just being able to see the wonderful diversity of our city. I mean, the people in our church have laughed at us, saying that we probably come in contact or know most people in Albuquerque. And mathematically, that's probably not true. But most places that I go, I interact with a face that I've seen before. Someone that I have, someone that I've cried with over a lost loved one, or celebrated a successful surgery and recovery from. And so we love and take it very seriously, our ability to cultivate a community around us.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I see that like your ambition is to go national. I'm sure that will happen, or it is happening. And that can be an example to the other vendors around that it's possible. If they see someone that they identify with, someone else who stands at the farmer's market, hears people say, well, I'll come back later, and then they don't. And somebody they can understand like that can do this and go national. I think it will inspire them. So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, JJ.
Good morning.
Miriam Ortiz-Pino, More Than Organized. I'm so happy for you. Two things. We can talk time management later because
Okay.
I can solve that.
Okay.
But I want to know what your favorite part of the business is. Is it the markets or is it the production?
My favorite part of the business is that I get to work with my best friend every day. The Johnson Brothers Tiny Farm we have 3 boys. We moved down there. They are the Johnson Brothers. And in our automotive business, I was the face of it. She could work in the business, but I was the thing. Here, I get to I get to work with her, whether it's in production, late at night, slapping labels on jars. I do the sterilizing of her jars, for the jams and jellies. Mostly try to stay out of her way as she's working in the kitchen, on that. But, we do 5 markets a week. I do 2, she does 2, and then on Sundays at Rail Yards, we get to do it together. And those 4 hours are my favorite 4 hours of the week.
Okay. I'm just thinking, you also mentioned you were looking to hire. What if, instead of doing fewer markets, you did more, but you hired roadies to set up, and then you and your lovely wife could actually work the markets together more often?
So one of the dreams that we have is to be able to do the markets because we want to do them, because we love it. It is life-giving to us. And so that is something that we've thought about. I don't know. The hard thing about I like what you said about having them set up and we just show up and sell. Because the hard thing about having someone else doing the selling is
You miss out on the good part.
we miss out on the good part, and you want to make sure that people who are speaking about your product are speaking from a place of empowerment and knowledge of what this is. There are lots of other lotions. I think because I don't think there's any lotion like ours.
There is not. I think there's a way to scale that up, and we can talk more about that, but I know how much you love it, and so I didn't want you to give it up entirely. So,
We won't. We're not giving it up,
okay,
but yeah, thank you.
JJ,
hi.
Erin McQuaid, Wright, Vitalist Coaching. I'm so excited to hear from you today. I love how you are so supportive of this group and always quick to jump on the mic and with ideas about how people can support their own businesses. And it really just feels nourishing to get to pour into you today and your farm. So you said at the beginning a really specific word, and I want you to talk a little bit
Okay.
more about it. Regenerative farming. I would love to hear from you about what that is, and to recommend for the group, if you haven't seen it, there's a documentary on Netflix called Kiss the Ground, and it features regenerative farming. And I was so excited to learn about this a couple of years ago and didn't know we had any regenerative farms here. Because it is a distinction, I'm wondering if there are networks that you can plug yourself into or already have plugged your farm into on the regenerative farming side, because it's a hot place to be and people want those products from regenerative farms. And
Sure.
so,
Yeah.
hear more about that.
So regenerative farming is a matter of considering the ecosystem as a whole. So it's a holistic form of farming. We don't do the harsh fertilizers and things. You hear about. I was reading, well, I wasn't. My wife was reading an article this week about there's a dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico. That is the result of the runoff from all of the fertilizers that we use, runoff into the Gulf of Mexico, and it's made that portion of the ocean uninhabitable for part of the year. Literally no oxygen in the ocean. And so what we do is we work on soil health through as plants grow, they either they put nourishment down into the dirt. Okay. Most farms most gardens, you'll have, roots that are maybe 12 inches down, because that's about how far down we till. So what we're trying to do is, create an ecosystem above ground and below ground that is, creating the right, the right microorganisms that are nourishing the plants. And that's something that you can taste the difference in. We're working with the, Valencia County Soil and Water, Conservancy. They're teaching us about permaculture, so that's the things you plant around your trees, around your plants, again, to create a symbiotic ecosystem of growth and health.
I grew up next to two different fields, and what you just described strikes me as the difference between what I grew up with, which is plant it and then it grows, then rip it out and get a lot of dust everywhere and then plant the next thing. And so what I'm hearing you say, I think, is it is about something always growing.
Right.
And keeping the soil in its place.
Right.
So that it can be more rich and have more diversity, and that sounds beautiful and wonderful. The last question I have is,
Yes.
you talked about the 6 core scents, which
Yes.
includes unscented,
Correct.
which is 5
Yep.
cents.
5 cents.
Where do the scents come from?
Yep.
And how does that interact with your supply resilience?
Great question. So we work with a perfumer out of Utah, that they generate our scents. We can give them and they will help craft that. That is something that there are things that I don't have that formulation, so I can't have someone else produce that. So that is a potential weak link in our supply chain. But I think as we're thinking about supply chain resiliency, there's a tension between what can you get anywhere, and when you work with the best people, you want to continue working with them. That necessarily means that if they were to stop doing what they're doing, I would change my scents, and for a time, probably would only be offering unscented.
I don't know if you're familiar with a local business that's a local perfumer that does local scents here
Okay.
called Dryland Wilds.
Okay.
I don't know much about them, but that
Cool.
could be a
I'd love to talk
potential partner.
Absolutely. Franklin.
Good morning, I'm Franklin. I'm a farmer and a few other things. So there's a lot of ingredients here on the bottom,
Sure.
and I saw your little mixing bowl.
Yep.
You mix all these ingredients? Do they all come in individual, or does some of it come like in the sense?
Yeah, so some of it, some of them are mixes that come as a unit. Some of them are things that we're adding individually. I'm no longer working out of the mixing bowl. Thank God. I make my batches. They're about 4 gallons. Is one batch, and then I do each of those for each salt.
So you're here with a successful automotive business at one time, when I first met you a couple of years ago. And you have some entrepreneurial urge, motivation. So what did it feel like closing down that business and knowing that this was the right path to go?
So in December, Danny and I were talking about the automotive business as I was getting ready to send out my renewal letters. I had people sign on for a 12-month contract. I was telling her, you know, it's time to send those out. Once I put these in the mailbox, I'm committed to this for another year. And she told me, you know, you speak to a lot of entrepreneurs and business people. You are free with giving them advice, whether they want it or not. And if you were talking to a business owner that had these two businesses, what advice would you give them? And it was one of the best pieces of wisdom that I've gotten. Because when I took myself out of the picture and just thought of the business and, you know, what they gave, what they you know, what I got out of them, it was obvious that this is something that is nourishing to my soul. And the automotive had become something that I was good at. Period. Full stop. So you asked, what did it feel like? It felt like a weight off of my shoulders to reach out to my clients and say, thank you for all that you've done for our family and supporting this business. Please join us on this new adventure.
That's very well said. Whole presentation, it's great that you're so comfortable with this group that you can kind of bare your soul. I've had the good fortune to start a bunch of businesses, and some of them, this goes to multiplying your effort. Some of them, say like the automotive business, I was able to train staff and they were enthusiastic. And I'm sure if you decide to expand this and hire an employee, you're gonna find that person has the same motivation that you trust. And with some grooming, I found that my team is better at doing what they do. And that allows me to do what I do. So
I'm thankful that exists in your space, and I long for that in ours.
well, there's somebody much wiser than me said that if you find something you love doing, you'll never have to work another day in your life. So how big's the farm? And who were your mentors? If I was going to talk, who do you teach your boys to listen to? Who could I present to my grandson? And I was listening today to the guys from the 50s that my grandfather used to listen to, Earl Nightingale, Napoleon Hill, and who's the real rich guy? What's his name? No numbers. All right.
Yeah, know the title.
Yeah, Dale Carnegie. So those guys were all around in the 50s, and my granddad was listening to that on the radio and had the books. But so you had some mentors, you had something that got you on this path, and who you'd recommend. But so you had some mentors, you had something that got you on this path, and who you'd recommend.
So for starters, some of my best mentors are here in this room. Barbara Dawson, Purple Mulch, has been invaluable to me as just a steady figure who has taught me to listen well and to care more about people than just making a sale. Jen Jassif, also in this room, is a business development, and business development, consultant and just a wonderful person. As far as the voices that you can point your grandkids to, Simon Sinek has been an amazing voice in my life. I'd be doing myself a disservice if I said that we read our Bible every day, and the voice from that matters and crafts the way that we enter the world. So, and maybe Sharon McMahon. I don't know if you guys have heard of Sharon McMahon. She is a historian. She has a podcast, Sharon Says So. It's incredible. Go check it out.
Thank you.
Yep.
Go ahead, Phil.
Hi, JJ. I remember seeing you before on Million Cups. Congratulations on your pivot from automotive.
Thank you.
That is more than a disruption. That's an inflection point. You're completely changing from one industry to another, which is a huge leap, and obviously required a lot of planning and thought to actually go down that road. So when you were showing the original capsule, the bottle, not plastic one, and then you showed the other one, the glass one. The glass one looked I agree with you, it looked much better. But then I was thinking to myself, what is it you've got in there? Because from a man point of view, I'm sorry if, and I'm sure there are other men that think this as well, but from a man point of view, what is goat milk lotion? Why would I be looking for goat milk lotion for a present from my wife? I'm assuming. Because when I first heard you speaking, JJ Farms and goat milk, I thought, oh right, okay, so this is like almond milk and dairy milk and all the other milk, but we're not. We're in a different ball game here because they're only this big. So for someone who's naive, if you like, but from a man point of view, what is goat milk lotion and why would I think of getting that?
All right, that's a great question. So I got started using goat milk lotion because I get eczema from time to time, and my dermatologist gave me a steroid cream and just said, put this on it. And I said, every day? I said, yeah, I'll keep refilling your prescription forever. And that didn't seem like a good solution to me. And so we did a little bit of research and found that the proteins and acids in goat milk are amazingly restorative to our skin. It's the same pH as our skin, so it actually gets into your skin rather than most lotions kind of sit on your skin. The ingredients that we use are, they're all incredibly nourishing and restorative ingredients. I talked to a tattoo artist who read the ingredients and said, oh my God, this is what everyone should put on their skin after getting a tattoo. You get a sunburn, you buy the little, the burn cream, you'll find almost all the same ingredients in our lotion as that. The only major difference is they use lidocaine to help with pain. So when we say that it's the most nourishing lotion, what we mean is that it is like food for your skin. So you say that you view this as a gift for your wife. I look and say, you're a person with skin that needs to be nourished as well. And you can feel the difference when you use our lotion. You send me an email and I will send you a sample for you and your wife. And I'd love to follow up afterwards and hear your answer.
Yeah, I think you need some more marketing, if you like, in that area, because you've now refocused me directly from what I thought it was. And I was thinking it was something else. And now you made me think it was something that from my wife, but you're now refocusing me somewhere else and saying, no, this is for, and it's a completely different market. So, and I apologize, maybe you've got a website that says that, but yeah, I was just not clear what it was, and now I'm much more clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Kenneth Ingham. I do cybersecurity. I think I should name my business that. I do cybersecurity rather than, but anyway. I had a whole bunch of questions for you, but I was told to go fast. So I just wanted to remind you, you said you're launching your new website. Make sure you have multi-factor authentication on that website so that only you can make changes to it and only you can get into it and so forth for all of the accounts that are associated with that. Be sure that that's turned on. If you need any help with any of that, just let me know.
Absolutely.
But that's probably the number one thing you can do to make sure the website stays secure.
Great, thank you. It's great advice for all of us with websites.
I'm Dr. Norm, brain health with Dr. Norm. I'm Dr. Norm. I'm in the dementia prevention business, has nothing to do with you and your company. However, I remember meeting you the very first time you were here and you were selling your Johnson Brothers automotive services, and I used those services. And then you bet. And then I started using your lotions and your jams and your jellies, and now I'm using your tinctures. So
Yep.
I've enjoyed all the products that you have, and I've enjoyed your friendship. And I'm glad you came out to 1 million cups. My question is real quick too. My boss says, get it going. So I remember the last time you presented, there was a question that came up about shelf life.
Yes.
What do you, what's changed, or what do you know about what have you discovered about that?
Yeah, so one of the things that we have had to come to grips with is that we don't want to use the harsh preservatives that are necessary to have the 2, 3, 5 year shelf life. Our product has a shelf life of 18 months. We use very clean preservatives in it. And yeah, that's something that it matters. It matters to us. Consequence to that is if you leave your lotion in the car, it's probably going to cook. And I'm sorry that is the case, but that is the result of the decisions we've made to not have those harsh preservatives.
Morning, JJ.
Hi.
Counts, Branding Titans.
Do we have a new question?
Yeah.
All right.
Great job on the white statement. So first question, how does it feel to be so clear on your why, vision, and mission?
I thought that I was clear previously. And as we have drilled down that clarity, it feels a little bit like the Matrix when Neo is walking around just seeing the ones and zeros. It feels so natural. I'm so much more comfortable in my skin knowing what it is that drives me. That you know, why I am attracted to this particular business and how the if we needed to make a pivot again, I think it would be an easy pivot for us to make because we would still stay in our lane of why we do what we do.
Right. Right, fantastic. Question. So being so clear on that, how do you feel about your ability to communicate, train staff, and inspire your stakeholders?
I don't know that I could have done it well without that clarity, knowing who I want to partner with. I'm not just saying yes to the first person who says pick me. I'm clear in our purpose and communicating that to people that we hire. I think will be a natural thing because it's flowing out of my why. My why is, I believe, in a world where people are seen, cared for, and empowered. And so all of it flows out of that. So that's not a concern. It's actually something that I look forward to sharing that vision with any potential stakeholders and partners.
Awesome. Go.
Hi, JJ. Good job. My name's Athena Christodoulou, and I'm a solopreneur. Just returned from my Drive Electric campaign.
All right.
Driving all the way to Maine, up to Canada, back across and down to Albuquerque. My other business is udormy.com, which is a platform that will organize your life, your real life, using your digital devices. Yes. Now, when I was developing that company, one of the first questions that came up is, who is my target audience? So I am going to ask you to figure out who is your first target audience, because right now I hear sustainability, sensitive skin, and others.
Sure.
And when you try to go for everybody, you get nobody.
Absolutely. So I think the smallest audience, if I could have one audience for our product, it would be people with some sort of damaged skin. That whether it's people who are showing up to dermatologist's office. Those are the people that we can help the most, that we care for and long to help. There are, as I told Phil, the actual audience is anyone with skin. But we're not trying to go to for everyone with skin. Alternatively, our audience are people who care about what they put in their body. Generally speaking, people who show up to farmers markets are showing up because they don't want the mass-produced products and the chemical side effects that come from that mass production. And so people who are trying to care for themselves and care for make the world a better place.
How many dermatologists have you visited? 0.
There's more. Well, JJ, thank you so much. And thank you all for asking the questions. And so now we have 2 final questions for you. What can this community do for you today?
Be kind to someone that you don't know. See the dignity in them as a human being, and work to create a community that is lifting each other up rather than tearing them down. That's how we're gonna make the world a better place, and that's what we'll see.
And then the last question, red or green?
Red. I've lost a taste for green chili. I love jalapenos, but I've lost the taste for just fish.
You don't grow any Sandia Hans in your yard, eh?
I would kill my wife if I could.
Okay, thank you so much. Please give a big round.